Greetings from the mountaintop. Huh. Greetings from the mountaintop. How y'all doing this evening? Oh my goodness, the screen is dark. I can't see nothing. And no one if they tried. Let's see why this screen is so dark right now. I just don't want to bring up a little light. Make us a little brighter so maybe we can see. Greetings. How y'all doing this evening? I hope everybody's doing good. I know I'm gonna have to take these glasses off here and there to kind of see what's going on the screen because these are just reading glasses. They truly are not seeing glasses. But tonight, I know I'm late, but you're never late. You're really always on time, right? Right. So tonight I want to talk about some things because I know it's been a lot of talk since Sunday. It's been a lot of back and forth about what this is all about and what this means and why and they against us, we against them. It's so much back and forth going on, right? Well, I like to just see what people are gonna say because then that gives me a chance. Let me see what they're talking about and really see how they took these things in. If they were paying attention, were they awake enough to see the underlining propaganda agenda or any of that? Are they just moving on emotion? All of a sudden, I just want to move on the emotion of everything, right? So tonight, this is called the National Reclamation. It's unmasking the ritual and securing the seeds from individual capacity to a national sovereignty. So I want to establish something. This is what I first want to establish with everybody, whoever's listening, wherever you are. We might want to let them listen to wherever you are. I would just want you to be listening at this time. Just listening, observing. Take this in for a minute. Maybe not so much even. You can respond, like definitely respond, engage. But I want to just, of course, I'm gonna always bring something to the people. So the first thing right now, my objective tonight, we have an objective, right? The objective is to establish that we are not sovereign citizens, okay? Not at all sovereign citizens, but a sovereign nation under divine law. A sovereign nation under divine law. I think we got to start teaching people how to love instead of hate and not just teaching people all the wrong that they're just doing. Let's teach them how to love instead of hate so they can see where their hate is really lying into and what type of how can we say the energy they give to their hate is the same energy that feeds the system. And if we don't learn how to love instead of hate, it's going to constantly feed a system that's totally against anybody. Because I'm going to tell you something. It's never had anything to do with, I mean, it might have something to do with skin color here and there. But if we really dive into this, what does it really have to do with? What does it really have to do with, right? So we're going to establish that first and foremost. We do not come as individuals. We come as a collective body, a nation. Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us in chapter 47 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. You hear me come from it all the time. It's clearly stated across the internet. The name means everything. Without a name and a land, you have no standing in the affairs of men. Tonight, we are here to reclaim our national name, to protect our national future, our children. The oral statement of the prophet. The prophet said, I am going to stop you from being a person and make you a nation. A person is a subject of the state. A nation is a peer to the state. We are fighting for our children as a nation because only a nation can hold a permanent estate. Only a nation can. So only a nation can really do that. So if we go into chapter 47, which I'm going to do, and read from 47, as I love to do, we're going to see exactly what he's saying right here. All right. When he says the name means everything, a name means everything. Without a name and land, you have no standing in the affairs of man, no matter how you want to put it. We're talking legal standing. Like what are you known around the world to be? Right? Around the world to be. So chapter 47 is Egypt with a comma, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham, see, somebody's coming from a land, so a land is we was already there before. If he's coming from a land of Canaan, and he's talking about old man Cush and his family, right? But then his father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Amexem, the first true and divine name of Africa. The dividing of the land between the father and the son. The dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and the northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. Who has joined us for over many years? The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit in northwest Africa. They were the founders and the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren, who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and habitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa, across the great Atlantis, even into the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands before the great earthquake, which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade, and it extends eastward from the river Nile westward across the great Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. According to all true and divine records of the human family, because I'm going to even say trade and transportation, we still talking tariffs is all in there and everything else y'all want to go up against and say ain't right. It's in there. We've always done this. We are so ancient and so beautiful. We've always done this. This is nothing new to who we are. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the holy land of Canaan. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today without a doubt or contradiction. There is no one who is able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers, unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator, Allah. So no man, no matter who they are, whether you want to define yourself as something, somebody want to define themselves as something else, or man comes to tell you, no one can change man from their descendant nature of his forefathers. So sometimes you wonder why people act in the way they do. Well, how did they ancient forefathers act? Did they come from that bloodline that didn't know how to act? Because you got to understand this happens in all families. We got our family members don't know how to act. So where are they coming from? Okay, so they can't go, their power can't extend beyond the great universal creator, Allah himself. So no one can change your descendant nature. You only allow people to change it because you allowed it. You got to go back. You got to draw yourself back and find this self. The holy and divine laws from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the uniting of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. They will learn to open their meeting and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I'm going to skip to 15. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. We are in that time right now. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess its own. So everyone will have to return back to their homeland so that they can worship under their own vine and fig tree. And their tongue must confess their own. So they'll go back and be able to help rebuild and make things better than what it's ever been before. When you're really looking at what's taking place, instead of coming from a hateful place, look for how things can be better for all. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. So no matter what, every nation has suffered slavery because you didn't honor your creed and principles of your forefathers. So whatever you decided to run behind that wasn't connected to them in that way, that's why nations suffer slavery. This is why nations suffer slavery. This is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and color was given to the Asiatics of America, who were of Moorish descent. We're going to talk about why we even say this word Moor, because they honor not the principles of their mother and father and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing of. Everyone wants to stray after people they know nothing of. Haven't done a research paper on them, haven't done any deep diving to really find out who these people are. You might just hear someone say it, or it looks good on this person, so we want to follow suit. But no, we must not stray after things we know nothing about. We have to go back and remember who we are. So I wanted to come out of there to say why it's so important that we have as a nation of people, and we move as a nation of people. Because sovereignty, you can't be one sovereign person, just a person. You have to move as a nation. And you have to learn how to move in love, because the nation could be made up of many different people with many different beliefs and backgrounds. But learn how to love instead of hate. Right? So I want to talk about this ritual and decoding the inverted hair. We're going to analyze the 2026 Super Bowl and Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio through the lens of spiritual subversion. The subverted sigil, the hair, the bunny, is the ancient hieroglyph of WN, win. I would say that's how they might have pronounced it, which in essence means existence. But the prophet warned us that the nations of the earth would use our own symbols against us. When Ocasio, a name rooted in the colonizing conversion lineage, dons the mask of the bad bunny, he is participating in what the prophet called the blindness of the world. The 400 rapids and the sacral attack. We're going to connect the Aztec gods of intoxication to the prophet's warning in chapter 25. The lower self is a liar. The point? This performance targets the sacral chakra. See, you always have to know, even when they're doing a ritual, what are they doing to you? What is it moving in you? Because there was a lot of over hyperactivity going on. So it was moving that sacral chakra, which is in the lower region of yourself. It's in your lower self. So it's moving that sacral chakra, the center of generation. I'm telling you how they putting an attack on you, you don't even know it. By hyper sexualizing the youth, they attempt to keep the nation from multiplying in strength, keeping us instead in the lower self of revelry, and drunkenness. So they want to keep you in a state of that. So they'll put these things there, and you don't know how they're moving each some part of your body, whether it's your sacral, your kundalini, your heart, your first. It's moving something. But for it to be moving that down there is only going to allow it to stay in its lowest energy. This is how they took over so many things and were able to take things from the people, because all they had to do was bring some kind of rivalry against them, and then give them something to get them toe up on. Whether it's alcohol, whether it's marijuana, whether it's any other kind of form of intoxication. Anything that can keep you in a state of you not really understanding what's going on with you. That's what that is. So the capture from the screen to the registry. So we're going to link the media ritual to the corporate data mining. Life Touch, Apollo, and Epstein, the biometric track. So I'm going to tell y'all this 30 years ago. So let me tell y'all, I've been on this 30 years ago because I have a 33-year-old son. So I know I've been on this for 30 years because I didn't trust people with my children. I was very skeptical of it from the beginning. So I was always fighting this. Excuse me for a second. I was always fighting this. And in doing so I was always, like, oh no, I don't trust people. And people think I was just crazy. They're just like, oh yeah, your children are gonna be this way, they're gonna be that way, they're not gonna be able to be sociable. So I was like, no, I'm homeschooling them. Their dad was really he's from the South, but he's from the South. So of course he's keeping them rooted in what's really going on, especially by we eventually moved to Atlanta. So 30 years ago, intuition told us, because it told me to keep our children out of the corporate camera. When they did go to school, I wasn't keen on that picture day thing. I'd be like, ugh, pictures. I don't know what they doing with them pictures. I'm thinking this 30 years ago. I ain't never liked that stuff. But that Life Touch and Shutterfly, you got to understand. Life Touch and Shutterfly are owned. They're the same company. Today, the Epstein Files shows us why. These companies are owned by entities like Apollo Global Management, whose founders are documented in the files. They are capturing the likeness of our children, y'all. While y'all want to say, ooh, let's make sure your hair look good, picture day, and then y'all post them all over social media for the world to see. Well, what are they doing with them negatives? What are they doing with them pictures you didn't pick? What they been doing with that stuff? Whose founders are documented in these files. They are capturing the likenesses of our children, the very image of God, and turning it into a corporate commodity. This is what they're doing. The divine instruction. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, children, you are at home. And the European, this has nothing to do with skin color, is 3,000 miles from home. So why are we letting strangers 3,000 miles from our spirit capture the biometric data of our children? As a nation, we must set up our own registries and Life Touch alternatives. We must own our images. Y'all don't realize when your children go take them images, do you not know that they own the master copy to them images? Y'all don't own them images? Even when I do photo shoots for magazines and things like that, we always have to make sure that we're credited so no one else can take credit or ownership over that. So you take all your rights reserved even over these pictures that y'all letting these people take of your children. And while you're posting them on social media too, it's the same thing. You're exploiting the children to these people that have been doing this in your face forever. So the remedy, national sovereignty versus personal deception. The objective, provide the legal and spiritual solution based on the MSTA literature, right? Abolishing the sovereign person myth. Do not be deceived. A sovereign person is a contradiction in terms. You're a Moorish American national. Your sovereignty exists within your nationhood. The prophet taught us to link ourselves back with the family of nations, the law of the land, the divine warning. If you don't do anything else, get your children's name and nationality on records. We secure our children not by fighting the state as enemies, but by outgoverning them. We use affidavits of nationality. We build our own schools. As the user of the Drew Ali Experience Coin project intends. That's what our intention is with the Drew Ali Experience Coin. We want to establish our own schools, temples, just like the Tamari Moore Temple, Ascension Temple that is being built here in Colorado. When we stand as a nation, we invoke the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Because we have to stand as a nation. Forget about you going to tell these people that they got a treaty with you when you ain't even standing in the treaty of peace and friendship. We no longer minorities begging for protection. You're not a minority. You're really a majority. We are a nation demanding our birthright. All right? The Prophet Noble Drew Ali, this is a quote from Prophet Noble Drew Ali before I go to the next one. I have mended the broken wires and connected them with the higher powers. So tonight we're gonna be mending the wires, cutting the cords from the Bad Bunny frequencies and the corporate registries of these Epstein associates. We are returning to the soul center. We are the Moorish nation, the Chata, the Cherokee, the Olmec, the original people. Our people are the national estate. Protect them, name them, and claim them. I want to see, do y'all have any questions? Y'all got anything y'all want to say in this chat over here on TikTok or anywhere else? Before I continue, because I'm going to give you the evidence. I'm going to give you some evidence of why we were called Moors before. And if this could be traced all the way back to the 17s, I mean, and everywhere we went, we took ourselves. So nowhere we went, we were not there. So when people try to disclose that from you and making you feel like, oh, no, that's not you. No, it is. They're trying to take you away from what's rightfully yours. Your vast estate. You have a vast estate that belongs to you. And if you continue to let these people tell you what you're not, you'll never understand what's waiting for you and what's truly for you. You still got to understand people still want to play the game and be a part of the agenda to keep you asleep. Because if they keep you asleep, then they can keep you controlled. And that's what happens. They can keep you controlled. So, do y'all have any questions? Y'all got some comments you want to touch on? Anybody? Okay, until we go down. So I'm just reading and giving evidence and, going over this because a lot of people don't know, but maybe some things are sparking your interest at this point because it's a lot going on and it's a lot that you're unaware that you've been a part of and even selling not only yourself, but your children too. So I have an evidence sheet here. Nationality is always the order of the day, no matter what. Everybody proclaims their nationality. Whether I go in the courthouse and it's a European and they're saying he's European from Europe, that's his nationality. Or a German saying he's a German from Germany, that's his nationality. Nationality is the order of every day, not the shade of your skin. So the ancestral receipt, the global name, era, cultural name used, the meaning and context, okay? So the Phoenician, Mahuran, the Westerners, defined by the West, the Americas or Amexem. The Greek would say Maurus, Mauros, the scorched dark ones, A description of the sun-kissed. They call us children of the sun, don't they? So I'm just saying, from different languages and backgrounds and nationalities. The Roman Mauri, Mauri, hey, chill out, little man. The sovereign natives used for the kings of the Northwest. This is the Northwest gate of Africa. A Mexum is North America, North of Mexum, North Africa. Okay? So, in the Spanish is Moro, used for the Aztecs, Mayans, and Filipinos alike. English, Moor, synonymous with the original man in early dictionaries. So if Moor even ties you back to original man, why would you want to detach yourself from even saying that? Because then that means you own the whole planet. Forget about trying to say you only own this portion and that portion. Why not claim what belongs to you in essence altogether? That's why I said it moves past this. So we're beyond skin color, the identity of culture. Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught us that we are a nation, not a race. Race is a social construct used to divide. Nationality is a legal and spiritual standing. The Mesoamerican connection. When the Spanish arrived in Mexico and the Caribbean, they didn't see Black people. They saw people with the same customs, the same turbans, and the same architect as the Moors of Spain and Africa. So when they got over here, it had nothing to do, we just calling ourselves Moors. No, they noticed us by the culture, the turbans, the architect. So they called the Olmec and Aztec cities Pueblos de los Moros. I was born in Pueblo, Colorado. So how was back then they was calling us that? So that's why I say, from the Mississippi all the way to the West Coast, my blood is this land, period. The one blood reality. My lineage proves this. I carry Choctaw, Cherokee, Olmec, Cuban, and Mexican blood. Even though we know that's really a Taino, or not even so much that's the word of Mexican, because the Spanish gave them that name. Some of our people are dark skinned, some are copper toned, and some are lighter. But they are all Moors because they belong to the same national family. The prophet's instruction. I could see my people 3,000 miles away. He wasn't looking at skin. He was looking at the spirit and the culture of the people. That's why we say we Moorish Americans, because of the culture. The culture. We held on to the culture. We're supposed to hold on to the culture and those principles that hold deep to who we are as family, as a nation. But you always got some bad people in your family. So yeah, there's some bad Moors in the family. It sure is. The division is the deception. The division's the deception. The enemy uses color to keep us fighting over shades while they steal your estate. So while we sitting over here fighting over, oh, I don't like him, and because of his skin color, because of her skin color, she light, she dark, this, that, this. They're stealing your estate, the estate that belongs to you. When you go, you have what's called an estate. And if ain't nobody there to claim your estate, the state takes your estate. So when we argue over who is dark enough to be a Moor or red enough to be an Indian, we are acting out of the colonizer's script. You're acting just like them because you're creating division. I don't care who you are. You're creating division. Nationhood equals family. A family has different looking members, but they are all share the same house, the land, and the same last name, the estate. This is the solution. We must stop looking at the body and start looking at the status. Whether you are in Georgia, Colorado, The mountains of Puerto Rico, like the Ocasio lineage, if you are indigenous to the West, you are a part of the Moorish Amexem nation. Get out your feelings. Stop trying to make it seem like somebody's more important than the other, because they ain't. I'm telling you from out of this, they ain't that important. Everybody look like they about the same in this bad boy. No matter what you got going on, what you call yourself, how you do it, everybody. So, this is why the capture of our children's images is so dangerous. They use these images to categorize us into boxes as Black, Hispanic, Native. Once they box you, they can strip your nationality. But refusing the capture, you are refusing the box. You are claiming your child as a national of a sovereign family, not a subject in a corporate database. Is that how you look at your children? Is that how you look at your children? Right? Is that how you looked at them? So I'm going to come back to this one too. And then we're going to talk about this unity bridge between the Moors and the American Indians. Because I wanted to tell you right here, okay, when I was telling you about the report of the different languages and how they called us, like how they pronounced it in their terms or their, nation's tongue, the Phoenicians receipt, the Westerners, the root word goes back to the Phoenicians, one of the greatest sea-faring nations. This is the receipt. They use the term Mahurin, which meant Westerners or people of the West. This is significant because it proves that even thousands of years ago, we were recognized as the people of the West, Amexem, the Americas, and the western parts of the African continent. Now, we know Africa and America is not the true name. We know that. But to give you context for today's time, you got to know it. Because if we just said it like that, you'd be like, well, what are you talking about? You're not talking to me. But we're trying to put you in context to show we are talking to you. We were defined by our position on the earth, the setting sun, the Greek receipt, Maruos, the dark ones. The ancient Greeks adopted the Phoenician term and converted it to Maruos, Mauros. So I may not be saying that right. In Greek, Maruos, which was plural for Maruri, literally means black or dark. The Greeks used this to describe the indigenous people they encountered in North Africa. For them, Moor wasn't just a location, it was a description of the melanated people. The Roman receipt, the Mari, the sovereign inhabitants. When the Romans took over, they used the Latin term Mari to describe the people of the kingdom of Mauritania. The receipt. The Roman military heavily recruited the Mari because of their unmatched skills in battle and navigation. Remember, it took 6 nations to take us down. So it makes sense. The Romans recognized the Moors as a nation with a kingdom. They didn't see slaves. They saw a sovereign military force. This is where the name of the modern country, Mauritanian, comes from. But the Roman Mari covered the entire Northwest. The Spanish and Portuguese receipt, Moro, the global indigene. During the Spanish Inquisition, the Age of Discovery, the term Moro or Moor was used as a catch-all for indigenous and Muslim people everywhere they went. Indigenous and Muslim people everywhere they went. The receipt. Spanish colonizers called the Muslims in the Philippines Moros and referred to the indigenous people of the Americas, Hispaniola, Mexico, Florida, as Moors, are having Moorish towns, Pueblos de Moros. I was born in Pueblo. I'm just saying. My whole family was. Mother, father, grandma, great-great-grandma came straight from here. Come on. Pueblo. They use the word Moor for the people of Americas because they recognize the same culture, architect, and skin tone. I'm going to say it again, as they seen in North Africa and Spain. This proves that Moor was a global name for the original people. The receipt. The English receipt will say, which would be blackamoor. That still meant the original man. In early English dictionaries prior to the 20th century, the word Moor was a synonym for the original man. Why wouldn't you want to be the original man? You want to cling to everything else that don't make you original. Right? The Encyclopedia of 1817. We're in 2026. This is the Encyclopedia of 1817. The Encyclopedia Londinensis defines a Moor as Maruas, Lat, L-A-T, which I'm believing is Latin, P-A-U-P-O, black, a Negro, a blackamoor. This shows that before the modern reclassification, like Black or African American, the world recognized us as Moors. It was our legal and racial designation for centuries. For centuries. It didn't just happen today because people are saying that. If you look at the history of the Moors and the things they brought and built, you would understand your hands is the reason for rounded cobblestone domes and all of the beautifulness that we bring to this world. Everything. I said people got to start showing me more inventors from other countries. Because I swear every invention there was came from over here. Came from right here. Every invention. When you go back and look at the inventions, they all came from a Maxim right here with the original man. So I want to talk about this unity bridge with the Moor versus the American Indian. Same people, different paperwork. That's it. Garvey says that. I love Garvey's quotes. It's my favorite quote. Garvey said, "The pen is mightier than the sword, but the tongue is mightier than them both." If you don't catch that all the time, they use the pen to jack us up. And we don't understand we could take that pen and use it right back on them. We could use it right back on them. So the unity bridge, Moor versus American Indian. Same people, different paperwork. The origin receipt, the Moorish root of the Indian. When the European arrived, he didn't have a word for the people here. He used the terminology of the old world. In the early 1500s, explorers like Giovanni da Verrazzano, I hope I'm saying that right, and Hernando de Soto described the people of the Americas as having the countenance and color of the Moors. The logic. They called us Indians because they thought they were in East Indies. But they called us Moors because they recognized our ancestry and culture. The bridge. An American Indian is simply a Moor found in the West, a Maxim. The legal receipt, reclassification as a weapon. The division was created in the 1700s and 1800s to strip the nation of its land, estate. So if they can separate you from your original man self, you're allowing them to take everything from you because they reclassified us as American Indian on paper. If they called you a Moor, they had to treat you according to international law and treaties, like the 1786 Treaty of Peace and Friendship. If they called you a Moor, they had to treat you according to the international law. If they call you a Moor, they got to. Baby, I'm treated like that when I walk in these buildings. They recognize me. I can even have a feather in my turban. They recognize I'm an American Indian, a Moorish American. Ain't nobody ever told me to take my stuff off in a courthouse or anything else where they tell you to. Passport picture, driver's license, any of that. I demonstrate my nationality everywhere I go. I'm not ashamed of it. I love it because it's recognized. International law recognizes it. Because the Negroes on the street shouldn't even be your problem. It's what recognizes in law, and that's how you can have standing in law. But you can't with names like Negro, Black, and Colored. They recognize it in a very lower vibrational way. That's why I told you the sacral chakra, they will attack your sacral chakra. And they do it especially to get to the babies. So, as I said, we always want to talk about this treaty of peace and friendship, but we ain't being treaty of peace and friendship with each other to demonstrate that we even demonstrating that with one another. So why should someone else respect a treaty that we don't even respect within our own communities to treat each other like that? We should have a treaty amongst ourselves where we're treating each other like that to demonstrate to them that this is how it is. So if they see you in that capacity, they'll treat you in that capacity, period. So the tactic, if they called you an American Indian, they could place you under the domestic dependent status of the U.S. government. The tactic, if they called you Black or Negro, they could strip you of all your rights entirely. The truth, you are the same person. They just changed your name on the record to change your standing in court. The cultural receipt, identity over skin tone. It's your identity over your skin tone, baby. It was never about skin color. It was about identity. In our families, we have the copper colored, Choctaw and Cherokee, and the dark tone Moorish. The prophet's insight. Noble Drew Ali taught that the Moors are the progenitors. Whether you identify as a Choctaw, a Cherokee, a Olmec, a Wichita, you are branches of the same Moorish tree. That's why it says everyone will have to worship under their own vine and fig tree. What is your vine and fig tree, blood? Brothers and sisters, how is your blood flowing? What is your vine and fig tree? I didn't mean to say it like that. Excuse me, no disrespect. But I didn't mean to say it, but how does your blood flow through this thing, right? So you're still the same. You are the branches of the Moorish tree. No matter what nobody tells you. The fact. The American Indian tribes have ancient Moorish customs. The wearing of turbans, seen in Cherokee chiefs, and burial mounds, pyramids, and the linguistic roots tied to the Hebrew, Phoenician, Mahurin, the Westerners. The National Unity Declaration. I am not a label. I am not a color. I am a national. I recognize that the Moor, the Indian, and the original man are one family under the sun. We have been divided by the names of the colonizer, but we are united by the blood of our ancestors. I cast off the black box. I cast off the minority status. I reclaim all of our standings as Moorish American nationals and heir to the Amexima state. We stand for our children. We stand for our nation. We stand in the truth that cannot be hidden. One God, one mind, one national destiny. You got to remember, even in that late 1800s, specifically around 1893, the U.S. government established the Dawes Rolls, the Dawes Commission. Their job was to allot tribal lands to individuals. This is where the term $5 Indian comes from. The text of the fraud, historical records, and academic studies like those from Virginia Commonwealth University confirm that the Caucasian man with an appetite for land paid government agents $5 under the table to have their names placed on the Dawes rolls. The reclassification for the $5 bribe, a Caucasian settler could be legally classified as Indian. This allowed them to receive 160 acres of free land, land that belonged to the original copper-colored families. While these Caucasian men were paying to get on the rolls, many original Moorish and indigenous people refused to sign because they didn't trust the government or didn't want to submit to a foreign registry. The bleaching of the 5 civilized tribes. The Dawes Commission specifically targeted the 5 civilized tribes: the Cherokee, the Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, and Seminole. The inversion. The commission created categories like citizens by marriage and intermarried white. This legally allowed Caucasian people to enter the tribal structure. The visual result. This is why the 19th century portraits you see often look pale. Those weren't the original people. They were the $5 Indians who have bought the status and then set for the official government paintings. They set for them paintings. You got to understand, it's never been about skin color. Never. The spirit is going to ring about who you really are. And people's spirit is truly showing itself. My friend, my sister, I haven't talked to her in a minute. And so I talked to her today. She said something about a date to me. And that on this date, something probably occurred where you might have been going back to repeat something to see if that's really what you wanted, right? So to hear her today say that and to go, oh my God, on that date, I did something and I was like, what? Why I feel so out of myself for like 7 days of just interacting with a person, which is interacting. So she told me about another specific today to be very careful in the moving on that day. Make sure whatever you're doing on this day is intentional. And I know she's going to put a video up. So I want her to be able to explain it in her video to the audience. So once she puts it up, I'm going to share it so you guys can really, you have to start understanding how this energy moves. Because our people can be so blinded by what's in front of them that they're unaware of really what energy is being pushed around them. So I love how she put it. I would say be very aware and be on the lookout. Pay attention to numbers. Pay attention to signs and symbols. Because through signs and symbols, that's how you're going to see the truth. The Bad Bunny performance, I wasn't there for the performance. I was just very interested in seeing how this ritual was going to take place and what was going to happen. It was a total different from Kendrick. Kendrick had a statement. He was sending a message, a deep message, if you understood it. This one seems like it was causing division. First of all this, we want to show everybody being this, okay, we know this. Bring some happiness. Because there were a lot of things in there that you could see the underlining racism. And y'all need to understand that performer is that Asazio is not Puerto Rican name. So you gotta check where this brother don't really came from, where his descendant nature comes from. Where's his lineage? You are your forefathers. Without a doubt or contradiction. Who are his forefathers? They were colonizers. So they'll use the same person because they got to move the energy because they're mad because nothing's been working for them. So the Super Bowl is a coliseum. If you go read about coliseums, you'll find out what all that's about in ancient times. And it'll probably make you not want to go to one no more. And the whole time that they're having these Super Bowls, y'all don't even understand they're funneling children. That's their time to even sell children. I stopped watching football back when old boy took a knee. Y'all got mad because he took a knee, but ain't nobody mad about all this hyper stuff going on the television, and our children see this stuff. And it could attach to the children. They think that stuff is cute. Like Sexy Red making these young girls thinking it was cute to go get a venereal disease. If you're going to sell a chapstick lip gloss that got gonorrhea or any of that on there, what are you selling to your children? And they watch their mama dance to her. So what are you doing to your children? You're making them out to be exploited to the world. I want everybody to cancel Corey Holcomb. After I heard the things he said on these videos about these children, I don't see how black men ain't pissed. And ain't nobody on his head right now about you talking about little girls the way he did. And if y'all ain't seen the video, go find it's all over the internet. He's talking about a 13-year-old and how they only got to be 13 to give up their poom poom in this country. And because it's been here 13 years. And his 15-year-old stepdaughter and how fine she probably. I'm like, Corey Holcomb, wow. I always wonder why you didn't like your baby's mothers. Why every time you got on stage, you attack them. And I'm surprised brothers ain't pissed, like on his head right now. To me, you grown, you do what you want. But when you start involving children, I got a problem with that. I think that is the sickest thing you could do. Is put a children in your grown mess. That's why I don't agree with children changing themselves. They don't even know what they want to be. Don't do that. Don't push all that on them. That's because that's what you want to do. As an adult, hey, that's cool. But the babies don't need that. That's psychological mess up. Because then they get older and that's not what they want to do anymore. And now you can't change anything. You try to go back and change it, they could possibly be unalived on that table. So you got to really start thinking about what is being fed to our babies. You should have been thinking about that forever ago. Because if I thought about it 30 years ago, I don't know where y'all's heads been with y'all's children. And I thought about it 30 years ago. What is going on? What are they doing? That's weird. Why are they doing that? Like, what do they do with these things? I always wonder when they take all that blood out your arm, what are they doing with all that? What are they doing? What do they do with a lot of things that you've given away to these people? From your body fluids to any of that. What do they do with all that stuff that they get from you? That should just be a question you have in your mind, in your head. Like, yeah. But I had to give that. And I hope y'all caught something from it. And if you didn't, you can always go back and view it again via YouTube. A lot of videos on there where I speak about the prophet. Because the one thing I'll never step away from is the lessons that he brought. I've never seen no more solid lessons than what he brought. The truth. I don't care how many books people write. Honestly, if I can't go back to this and codify it and know that somewhere he might have it in there, or it even sounds like it's coming, I'm cool. I'm cool. Because everybody wants you to be the follower of them. And they don't even see how they're doing that. They're not playing it any different than any other organization or anything. People just they're keen on the following trend. Never so much have I seen people leave Instagram and come to Facebook so quick. But y'all ain't even been on Facebook through all this. But now that you can't downplay the man no more, and now that energy over there ain't trying to hear it, now you want to come over there and play on these people's feelings over on Facebook. And that's already a wreck. So don't jump from here to there. If you're going to be solid for the nation and the community, be solid. Don't just pick it when it's cool when it seems like it's the right time to be a part of the crowd. Nah, always be who you are. You know what I'm saying? Don't change it up now. Don't change up your stilo now. I've been rocking with Trump for a while, so y'all know I don't care how nobody feel about it because I'm looking more at the policies being handed out. I'm looking at these executive orders and how they help my nation and my children. I'm not sitting up there talking about somebody I don't personally know that ain't did nothing to me personally and what he got going on. I'm looking at how is my family going to be able to, when I look at the law, how are we fit in there? Well, if we keep calling ourselves these names, we ain't going to never fit in there. You ain't going to never see yourself. You'll never see yourself as a part of this. You'll always run around here as I'm a sign up for slavery type of person. That's what you will be. Because you never took the time to really say, who am I? Where do I come from? What is my nationality? And how do I fit into this? How do I fit into the affairs of men? How do I do that? How do I fit in the affairs of man? Telling you, nationality is the order of every day. I don't care what's going on in the world. These celebrities can't give it to you. You see, they're done with. Whoever's rocking with any celebrity, something got to be wrong with you. Because I wouldn't be rocking with none of them. Not a near one. We don't know what they had going on to get in the position that they in. So don't sell yourself to them because that's what they're doing this now. Y'all better get on your nationality. Y'all better learn how to proclaim that. No matter who you are. Proclaim it and demonstrate it. Demonstrate it to the point to where people, you know what I'm saying? You go and, hey, when you enter the room, they know who you are and the respect is given. There's no disrespect unless they feel intimidated by you. That's the only time there's disrespect because they feel intimidated because of who you are. I'm going to give y'all a scenario. So we were serving some people yesterday. We served like DA, the sheriff's office. We served some people some paperwork because you have to start putting these people on notice of the things that they do wrong. Stop just letting these people do anything to you. Find out how they're doing you wrong. Don't just take what they say to you and say, okay, I'm just going to agree to it that you said that this is what it is because this person sits in a certain position. No, don't do that no more. Start finding out where they're breaking their own laws so you can call them out on it and put them on notice and others too. So the person that I had to have serve these papers, I said, when you go in there, some of them probably ain't going to want to take the paper. Ain't going to want to take the paper, right? He goes into the sheriff's department. Hands them the paper. Now it says, hey, if they touch the paper and let it fall on the floor, you just walk away and start, right? The man grabbed the paper. We don't take this and threw it out the door. I said, as long as you put your hand up and say, hey, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Keep it moving. You've been served. So you got served again today, certified mail. So no matter how much they want to try to neglect you, reject you, there's always going to be a way for you to cover yourself again. Because you're going to get their attention. That's why I say stop falling for the okie doke. Learn your law. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Learn the law. Learn how it works. Don't be out here breaking the law. You don't do that. Learn your laws, though. And really dig into them. Find out how they're violating you in so many ways. They're always violating. Paperwork be wrong. Everything they filled out. If you start asking for it, give me the discovery. Unredacted. I have the right to it. Give me the transcribes from everything that was said in court, even things that were off record. I want everything unredacted. You have the right to these things. So see, when they did that to us, we never went back to ask anything. We just was like, oh, some were scared because they didn't want to go into be with them, be into no foreign registry with them. But still, they still found a way to change it up on us. That's why we can't turn our backs and not look. Our ancestors and forefathers set this government up. So if anything, we should be learning how to run a government while the people that are in power doing it. So when all of this is said and done, and ain't nobody here to say, hey, y'all got to do this, because some people don't know how to move unless they're being instructed to move. Some people just don't know how to go and just make stuff happen on their own because they're so used to the do this, do that, the robotic life. But now we're coming in a time, I'm telling you, to where when it's all said and done, we may be standing on our own grounds and figuring this thing out. The prophet said he was only keeping them here long enough to teach us how to run a government. So we have to learn how to run this government. We have to. We have to. Learn it. And when we learn it, we have to be a part of it. We can't just learn it and be like, oh, okay, well, I know it. So, no. Learn it and find somewhere, a position to play in it for the people. We need strong men and strong women that know their condition that can be better. You don't even have to know that it can be better. You can just think it can be better. We need strong men and strong women who think their condition can be better. Even if we could just get you to think it could be better. Even if you don't know it could be better. At least getting you to think it could be better. If you think it could be better, you should really be trying to link up with those that are doing the same thing. In your neighborhoods, in your communities, whatever. We have to save the children. If y'all are not mad by now about these children, then you know what? It probably is. Y'all probably are the enemies. Because y'all stand up for the most craziest things, but the children. That's our future. You got more years behind you than you do ahead of you. You grown people. We talking about our children being left to this. And not being mad enough to where you're realizing Life Touch Studios got your children's pictures. And Life Touch Studios been keeping track of these children. That's how some of these children have come up missing, a lot of them. But ain't nobody talking about that's what's in the Epstein Files. Ain't nobody talking about you sending your children to these schools, and we've been telling you get your babies out these schools. And now you see Life Touch and everything else in there, and y'all quiet. So what's going to be on the next agenda now that he's not a pedo in the Epstein Files? He's not. He was the first one that blew the whistle on the brother. So you can't blame that on Trump. So now next you're going to say he don't like us. I don't see where that is because he never said nothing that hurt my feelings. And that video y'all been complaining about came out in 2023. And that video came out, that meme came out in 2023 with every Democrat, Republican on a animal's face. So why you telling me he called us a monkey? Well, half of y'all act like monkeys. He didn't call you anything because he didn't make it. Somebody else made that in 2023. So find something else. So what else? What other train y'all about to ride on this cycle that claims that he's this or that? When nobody's showing no treaty of free friendship and treaty of peace and all that extra stuff y'all talk about. And if you so pro-black, why you ain't looking out for these babies? Why y'all keeping y'all children all over the internet? So you do it to yourself. Ain't nobody did this to y'all. You do it to yourself. We dig the hole for ourselves. We got to secure the seeds. The betrayal of the shield is real. The betrayal of the shield is real. I don't see how y'all ain't mad. I don't. Because y'all been real quiet. And I ain't really even been on social media. But y'all have been very quiet. It's like hearing a mouse pee on cotton right now. It's like it's straight up like that. Straight up like that. You can hear a church mouse fart right now. That's how quiet people be. Because what trainer you gonna write on this time? When he's the one that has exposed all these folks doing this to these children. Forget what you think they trying to make up AI and all that. I'll bust all them Photoshop pictures down for y'all and videos. A lie. Where? Ain't never heard no story about that man ever. It's stuff they make up. Show me. Because I don't think nobody that would be a part of that would be trying to run for no president 2 and 3 times. That is crazy. Like, a lot of y'all just look like, it just be like, I don't know where your brain came from. Like people say, I asked God to send me a boat. He did. He sent you one 3 times and you never got on it. He sent a tugboat, a ship. He sent all kind of things for you to get on. A raft. You never took heed to it because you don't recognize God. You looking for a form, for a scapegoat, for a person. Get out of there. You're looking for a form and a person. That's what you're looking for. A form and a person. So you can blame stuff on people. Not so you can take, you know what I'm saying? Take accountability. Blame. It's easier to blame than to take accountability for anything. And right now, our babies need us to take accountability for them. So just like y'all was rah-rahing about everything happening in Minnesota and rah-rahing about everything everywhere else, why y'all ain't rah-rahing about these children? Y'all ain't keeping up that same mess. Because this could come to your back door. These could be your children. How you know they ain't got them pictures of your children trying to get them now? Because they're desperate right now. Keep these children off these platforms. They shouldn't have no social medias. Y'all should block all that from these babies. Start taking time with your children. Take them somewhere. Go to the park. Do something different. Stop handing them the tablet. Stop handing them the phone every time if they're not acting in the way you want them to act. Stop giving them those things so freely. Because this is how these babies are being harmed also. Through Roblox and all this other stuff y'all let them play. And TikToks, and get these children off these platforms. Because you're just as guilty. You're just as guilty. Because you're giving them to the predator. That's why I say the betrayal of the shield is real. You're supposed to be the shield that shields and protects your babies. You're supposed to secure the seed. We're not supposed to allow the seed to be, you're supposed to cultivate that seed. You're supposed to take care of that seed. But I guess grown folks will be grown folks. I'm starting to really see what that means. That 85% of grown folks that don't stand for nothing and will fall for anything. We'll fall for anything. But these are our babies we talking about. Not your personal ego, not your personal opinion. I'm talking about all babies from all backgrounds and all color. I don't care what color they are. I'm talking about all children. Because all children have been affected. All babies have been affected by this from every background. They were selling islands with children on them. So as I say, that same energy that y'all give to the nonsense, y'all need to be giving that energy to the truth. The same energy y'all want to rise up for somebody that truly didn't care about you neither. For her to be out there acting like that. But y'all went ham for that. And y'all went hard for that. But now y'all like little church mouses and quiet. And y'all know I never have no problem being on here by myself, one person, two people. I don't have a problem with it. As long as the message hits the airways, as the prophet and as Allah and the prophet direct me to, I'm going to do it regardless. Because one day, some children, I'm going to get a mind to spark to think. And one day a child could go back and look at these videos on YouTube from someone that's really coming from the heart of love. Not looking for not looking for a fan, not looking for that. But someone coming from love that's willing to teach us, to take the time for us. And wow, I can finally find out who I am. So that's what this live has been about tonight. Securing the seeds. But the only way you're going to be able to secure the seeds is if you know who you are. Because other than that, you've only signed them over to the people that are going to take advantage of them, misuse them, and abuse them. So in getting on that nationality, you have to. You got to at least proclaim theirs if you don't want to proclaim yours. So if you go and you ain't here, at least when they say, what's your nationality, your children will know where they stand. And they won't be shipped off on a boat. They won't be stuck in some kind of concentration camp because they have no idea of their identities. But these babies have been trafficked through these places and things with their names on stuff. Through Life Touch, Shutterfly, everything that's named on these files that can attach to our babies. So, it's some work, but it must be done. It must be done for them. It's not about us. It's for them. For the generations to come. That's what this is for. But we have to teach them, because just because somebody's going to come and give everybody a whole bunch of money, don't mean they know how to hold on to it. So through your nationality, you're teaching them civics, economics, social. You got to teach them all of these things of how to be a complete man. A complete man has a religion. A religion don't necessarily mean you Christian, Muslim. That's not what I'm talking about. Study what religion really means. Remember, it was physical, but we still needed to be free, mental, social, economically, and religiously. Those 5 senses makes you a whole man. Those 5 senses makes you a whole man. But even in filling out a census, if you don't even know that, if you don't know the difference between your race and the ethnicity, see, it's a difference. That's why I say you got to be freed mentally, politically, socially, religiously. Physically, you are already. But everything else you have to add to yourself. You have to add it. Use it. Demonstrate it. Demonstrate who you are. If we're going to talk about being friends and having peace with people, we need to actually do that. We need to show them that this is how this is done. And we must do it with one another. So we'll be the example that we're trying to say we need to see. We can complain about it all day, but if none of us are doing it to where it's like, okay, well, we must become the example. So why don't we work together? I don't care if it's three of y'all. It could be two of y'all working together. Two, three people could come together to make some things happen for the community. It don't have to be big, but do something. Do something where you can involve yourself, making sure these children are safe. These babies ain't going home as latchkey kids by themselves. Like, come on, it's too many great parents out here with too many great ideas that we can come together in helping these babies have safe environments. That's what we need. So I'm looking for those people. I'm looking for those people that are willing to connect in that way. I'm not looking for no fans. I'm not looking for no followers. I'm not looking for you to join nothing I got going on. I'm just looking for those that are really serious about this work for the nation. Because doing the work for the nation only enhances our children. So as Americans, if you love America, because I love America. I love a Mexican. You have to stand for something. Or if you don't, just find out where you would like to be and where you could stand and say, I'm proud of this place. And I would fight for this place. And I'll fight for the children here. But if you're just looking to be greedy and just egotistical, and I hope they have somewhere for y'all. An island. I don't know. But I don't think it needs to be much of a square mile of space for all that nonsense. Because over time, they're just going to annihilate one another. Because there's no love there. But those that move on love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, that move on that first principle of love first, forget this. But the love, that's who I'm looking to link with. So whether you're on TikTok, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're on YouTube, those are the only ones I'm looking to link with. We got schools we're building. The Drew Ali Experience coin is specifically there for that. It'll never change the name, whether a Moore follows it or not, whether they purchase one or not. The two people that have purchased the coins, neither one of them are Moores. So all I can say is that in doing so with my DAEs, well, I'll say with the community coin, because it's a community coin, to the point to where even if you purchase that coin, you'll be able to spend it with me in the Drew Ali Experience store for any of those products. Because we have to teach this economic thing and we have to control our stuff. So the DAEC coin is building so it can build the schools and the temples and the things that's needed for our children. It's not for me to say, hey, I'm going to go on a trip. It's not for that. I want it to be for the babies and for the nation. We could build homesteads where we can have land for people that have nowhere to go. And maybe need some life skills. If we have a big enough plot of land and as a farm, please, that's their exchange. You got to apply here, help grow the food, whatever. That's how we can help people get back on their feet. Teaching them how to take care of themselves, how to fend for themselves. So through the DAEC coin, that initiative, that's what we want to do. So we can help those, even brothers and sisters coming out of prison, where there's something there when they come home. Some form of job training, some form of not just a place to stay, but what about the life skills that they need? Not just to drive a truck, like all life skills, how to grow food, how to forage herbs, like all those, how to make a fire, how to build all of these things, just in case you're stuck in the woods. Like giving some skills to them, skills that they could go out and eventually create their own income, create their own business. Stop trying to look for people to want to work for you. Why aren't you setting up something to where you're teaching someone to stand in the same shoes you stand in? Taking the time to do that for our people is important. Always been an initiative for me. I always said if I owned all them warehouses in Georgia on Buford Highway selling all them doggone hair products, all my warehouses, all I would hire is the brothers coming out of prison and pay them a nice amount of money an hour. Pay them a really, because back then when I thought about it, I was like, shoot, I would pay them $25 an hour. I mean, back then the minimum wage was still like at $7.50. And I was like, just enough so they could be able to get on their feet, be able to get them a home, whatever it is they need to do. I've always thought this way. I'm telling you, growing up, Michael Jackson was only my idol because of the way he was always wanting to save the children. Heal the world, make it a better place. USA for Africa, like everything. I would just be like, man, that's the thing. Can I have every baby from Africa that's hungry? Because that's what they sold us. So that's what I thought. And now even finding out he was taking them children to Neverland to keep them from going to Epstein Island. I knew his energy was just different. That man wasn't harming no children. He wasn't harming no children. He was making sure they were safe. Now, if anything else comes out about it, but I never held on to that thing when Michael Jackson supposedly doing these things to people. They were allegations, but the energy he gave, impossible. He didn't even have a childhood. So seeing him in his humanitarian works, like those type of things, have always been in me. Not now, just because I found more in science. No, this has always been me. I always wanted to find a way to give back to those that are unable to find their way. Maybe they just need an idea spark. Maybe they just need a little help here or there. But I've always felt like, and also knowing now my purpose has always been to have a hand for someone, help someone, not allow them to misuse me. They can't do that no more. But literally, my hand will help. Somebody can bring me an idea. I done created that idea into a whole doggone multi-million-dollar business by the time they're done talking to me. It's just the way my mind works. It's just the way I move. It's just the way I think. I'm very creative mentally, very creative. Like you could give me something and I'll be like, oh yeah, you can do this, this, and that. And I'm just, because I'm listening to you birth something. I'm listening to you literally impregnate yourself with this dream or this gifts you have and literally watching you birth it. I can literally, as you speak about whatever it is you're doing, in my mind, as I'm thinking about it, I could be unfolding different ideas for that specific thing. It's like, it's just the way Allah wired me. And I should be a business consultant for real. I should straight be one on all levels, but so yes, being one of those is really dope. And I've tried it before. I've been a stylist in the industry where I've dressed rappers, I've dressed authors, and they're usually men. I usually do the men because I have boys. So I know how to dress a man, right? So I've done those things, like just trying different things in my craft, in my industry, just to see how artistic I am in that area. I can do some makeup. I don't even played with some makeup, right? I don't even play with some makeup. I done did some photo shoots that I done put up for y'all. Y'all didn't know I did the makeup. But that's just being around such amazing makeup artists. But knowing like, dang, I got no makeup artists today and they need hair and makeup. So I just bust it out and do it. So just being able to test your skills, test your talent is the best thing. Just try it. At least you can try it. Just because it don't work out for you, don't run from it, but you could try it. Tap into these gifts, y'all. I'm telling you, because the next phase of this, your gift is going to mean the world. Your job and all that, I mean, good luck. But your gift is going to be something that you will be able to give the world. And it will change some things. It will change some lives. So tap into that. And if there's anything that you might think you might be thinking, you can message me. I'll message you back. I'm not trying to make no new friends or none of that, but I am willing to extend a hand to help in whatever areas you may need help. I may know someone that knows someone that can help you in whatever you're looking for. This is how we really can activate what we would call a treaty of friendship and peace. Why don't we learn how to be friendship and peace with one another? And have a treaty amongst ourselves like that. Because within, if we could do that, then maybe somebody can respect a treaty of friendship and peace. But nobody's going to respect it until we respect it. And that's just real. I don't care what side you're coming from, how you want to argue about who you are on this side and who you are on that side. If you're the original man, what else can you argue about? What's going to be your next argument? Whose hair is kinkier than whose? I bet y'all can't get with me because I got the first hair they was giving. I was in the hairline. I promise you, y'all can't get with this first hair. Me and my family got the first hair. That's the thick. It's thick, and it's a lot of it. So what y'all gonna argue about next? Who got the more kinks, huh? Yeah. In a minute, you're not gonna have anything else to judge no one by. Because now you're going to strip yourself of so much. All you can do is judge yourself. Because you've judged too much for too long. So now it's about judging self. How are we going to judge ourselves? Taking better care of our bodies, our skin, just our overall health. Our overall health. And if you're into the things to help others with their health, then help others with their health too. Some people don't know what they're doing. They just, I'm sick, and the first thing they run is to the Walgreens. But start making yourselves available, as I was telling the ladies, medicine women. I know some medicine men out here in the world. But do that. The nation needs you. But no longer do we need to be out here arguing and fighting about who's better than who. Because that's what it really comes to when these things start happening. Well, he represented, so they better than y'all. No. Let's be better together. Let's be better together. Because when we learn how to do that, then we show the world a difference. But if all they ever see is Americans banging with each other, mad at each other, angry, why would they come over here respecting anything we got going on when we don't respect what we got going on? Together, we're stronger. Separate, we're weak. That's why we can't walk around, I'm a citizen. No, you're not. Impossible. How about be a nation? So you can have some numbers. Like Public Enemy said, take a nation of millions to hold us back. It sure would. If we even knew how to activate and demonstrate in the way we're supposed to. So I ask everyone to do that. We're almost at the end of your so-called Black History Month. Make that a part of your Black History Month. Because to me, Asiatic history is every day that the sun shines and the moon is outside. Every day is our day. But for those that get caught up in that, once you make Black History Month, go out with a bang. Once you demonstrate what it is to be a nation of people that's proud of their Black History Month. I'm gonna see. Y'all got y'all Valentine's Day coming up. I'm gonna see how y'all post. I'm gonna see how hard y'all go. Cause y'all go hard for everything else but your own. Hype up everything. But what you need to be hyping up. Save the children. Save the children. Save the children. May Allah bless each and every one of you on your way. I hope you guys have a good night. Rest well. But I'm going to say it again. Save the children. Keep that same energy for these babies, if not worse. Now it's time to rise up. Peace and love. Enjoy your night, StreamYard. YouTube, have a great night. Why this thing ain't cut on? It's supposed to go on. I ain't gonna beat you today. I ain't gonna get you today. Why it didn't